Hey guys, techmadeezy, and thank you for clicking on our video today. Well, we've got the brand new ECOFLOW Delta 2 Max. That's right, 2 Max. This thing's got lithium iron phosphate batteries. Wow, over 3,000 cycles. And then it goes to 80%. This thing will last for years and years, especially if you maintain it right. And look at this. We've got it next to a gas generator. Today, we are going to compare these a little bit to help you maybe switch from a gas generator to something that's a lot more cleaner and a lot more convenient. All right, we're going to go over specs. We're going to take a close look at the Delta 2 Max. We are not doing testing in this video. We're going to do it in another video. But why don't we go ahead and get this party started? Hi, this is Al from techmadeezy with a really quick message. The video you're about to watch is sponsored. We received this product from the vendor. But keep in mind, we will be very honest with you as we review the product. That is very important to us. If you like our video, I sure hope you give us a thumbs up. I hope you share our video. And last, I really hope you subscribe and become a part of the family. Thank you. Well, here it is, your standard gas generator. And for some, this is fine, right? It just does the job. But are you looking for change? Maybe you want to do something that's better for the environment, right? Are you tired of grabbing your gas can and placing it in your vehicle and potentially breathing in fumes depending on your situation? Are you tired of waiting in line at a gas station and touching that nasty handle? And what about gas spills while you're on your hands and your knees trying to fill in this little gas tank? What about pulling that cord all the time to start it up and it doesn't always start up? And what about the noise that this thing produces? These are not quiet. Lastly, what about running long cords from your backyard because you got to have this outside because you can't have your gas generator inside, right? And you only get so many outlets, right? This machine's got 220 volt outlets. Again, that weight, this is 105 pounds. Lifting this is no fun for anyone. And then you've got to deal with spark plugs and oil. Well, here's an alternative. Let me introduce you to the Delta 2 Max from ECOFLOW. Well, here it is. The Delta 2 Max with an add-on battery. The Delta 2 Max is a 2400 watt power station that has a surge capability of 4,800 watts. Now, what's nice is it's got 15 ways to power devices. In the back of the unit, it's got 6 AC outlets. It's got USB ports, even USB Type-C, and it also has a car charge outlet, which is really nice. Now, one of the things I really like is it's got 4 ways you can actually recharge it. So you can plug it into a home outlet, right, for AC. You can plug in solar, which is really nice. You can plug in the car charger, and you can even plug in an ECOFLOW smart generator, which is really cool. So as you can see, the Delta 2 Max is also expandable. That is one of the expansion batteries sitting on top of it. And you can get up to 2 batteries, which is really nice. That's 2,048 watt hours for the extra battery, which is pretty cool. And what I do is when I'm using the Delta 2 Max, I actually use it, I have stuff plugged into it, but I'm recharging it with solar at the same time. Pretty cool. So let me bring up an image so you can see what our testing video is going to look like. This video will be out soon, and when it comes out, I'll put a link in the description, but just so you'll know what the video looks like. Now, let me move forward and go over what we're going to cover today. So I'm going to start off going over Delta 2 Max advantages over gas. I'm going to do an unboxing so you can see what's included with the unit. We're going to take a nice close look. I'm going to go over the key features of the Delta 2 Max. I'm going to go over detailed specs. I'm going to show you some must-have accessories that you might want to pick up. I'll go over a section called Know Before You Buy. Now, this is really good if you're a beginner. All right, so definitely check that out. After that, I'm going to go over estimated runtime examples. And lastly, I'm going to show you how the add-on batteries connect to the unit. So let's get moving. Let's go ahead and get this unboxed. And there it goes. The Delta 2 Max and one of the Delta 2 Max batteries. Now, what do you get in the box? Well, let's take a look and find out. All right, let's see what you get. You get a quick start guide and the manual in here. You also get a warranty card. Make sure you register your warranty. You get a DC barrel plug. You get a car charger, but as you can see, it's orange because that's an XT60i connection. You see this extra pin here. So XT60 is yellow and XT60i handles more amperage, and it's going to be orange with the additional pin there. This is just a box that it came in, and this is a really nice thick AC cord. I'll go ahead and put the thickness right here for you. And lastly, you know, inside the battery on the top, you do get the cable to connect it, all right? A little guide here, and then you get your cable to connect it. This is a XT150. I think it's about 3.3 feet. I'll put something on the screen if I'm off a little bit there. But now, you know, you can actually connect two batteries to the Delta 2 Max. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the Delta 2 Max advantages versus gas. So we've got fume-free, clean power, no mess with gas, oil, spark plugs, gas station visits, you name it. This thing is also quiet. It averages about 30 decibels. You have to see our noise test, okay? It's maintenance free, there's no moving parts, but you do want to learn more about battery care so you can really prolong its life. Now you can also use the Delta 2 Max indoors. You can't do that with a gas generator. It is lightweight. This thing is only 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. Now, it's also got a long lifespan. The battery type is LFP, which is lithium iron phosphate, and it has 3,000 cycles, and then it goes to 80% plus. This is also expandable, right? You want to add more runtime? You can pick up some additional batteries, and you can go to 6,144 watt hours. You can also control it by the ECOFLOW app. You can do firmware, updates, and more. You can charge this really, really quick. So from 0 to 80% in 68 minutes. And lastly, you're getting a 5-year warranty. That is real nice. Let's go ahead and do our close look. And I will tell you at this point, we do not have pricing for this unit because it's launching when we launch our video coming up in a few days. But this is the Delta 2 Max, and of course, we'll be showing you the Delta 2 Max add-on batteries. So let's start off in the front. You can see here you've got a wonderful display, and on the right side you're basically looking at your input and your output wattage, so that's great. In the middle on that blue ring they're showing you the battery percentage. On the left side you're actually looking at your charge or your discharge time. And what does that mean? If I'm charging the unit, it'll tell me how much longer it will be before it's fully charged. And let's say I'm plugging in something that's taking up about 50 watts. Well, it'll actually tell me how much longer I can run that device. So that's charge and discharge time. Down here, you've got your USB ports. You've got a power button for USB, a power button for the unit with an indicator light, and a pairing light right here when you're pairing the unit itself. As we go to the right, you're going to see two battery ports. These are XT150s. All right, so it is a special plug. Keep these closed, it'll keep the dust out. This is going to blow on this side, so you've got your fans basically here, and what they're doing is they're sucking air in, allowing that to go through the unit and cool everything off, and the air will come out on this side. All right, on this side here you've got your logo. Now it doesn't say 2 max, and that kind of confused me, but it is a 2 max, all right, Delta 2 max. On the back, well, let's go to the top for a minute. So one thing that's nice about the top, especially if you have like add-on batteries, is you can put the battery on here. Now they recommend one battery on the bottom, the Delta 2 Max in the middle, and another battery on top. Okay, they don't recommend that you put 2 batteries on top of here, but these handles are phenomenal. You know what I mean? They just work great, lifting the unit up. So a nice system that they have here. And let's go to the back of the unit now, and let me bring some light back here. And you'll see here that you've got the 6 outlets with the power button for the outlets. You've got your barrel plugs, your car charging port, power for that. And then here you've got, 2 XT60i's. Okay, so you got 2 of them now. We'll go over that in a little bit. Your plug goes in here, so you don't have a big power brick to bring with you. And the other thing that's really nice too is if you want to charge fast, you can move this to the left. If you want to charge slow, you move it to the right, and then you go in the app and adjust the speed that you want. All right, and then they do have a reset, just in case you get overload. Right there is a reset. Keep that closed, and give me a minute. I'll show you the bottom of the unit. So here's the bottom of the unit. Now, you really don't want to put this on the side, because when you're using it, you obviously want that airflow in the fans. Okay, but in this case, I just wanted to show you the bottom. And you can see here that you've got some real beefy, ends here, and some thick rubber that will help protect, basically whatever you're putting this on. So they've done a pretty good job. And that is the bottom, and that's our close look. Let's go ahead and go over some detailed specs now. Again, cost is not available on this yet, okay? So power, we're talking 2,400 watts and a surge of 4,800 watts. Now, X-Boost, they say, can handle 3,400 watts. I'm going to put a note up on the screen so you can see that. And make sure you take a look at that, because you don't want to have X-Boost on with certain types of electronics. All right. Now, this does have a pure sine wave inverter, and that will be in our testing. We'll actually show that in our testing video. I'll put the small image up on the screen so you can see what the testing video looks like. Pass-through charging. This actually has pass-through charging. Again, we're going to test that in our testing video. This also has an EPS, which is an emergency power system. Now, some people kind of confuse it with a UPS, but this company is pretty smart. They don't call it a UPS because UPSs are extremely quick, and EPS, they're saying it's within 30 milliseconds. But again, we're going to show that in our testing video. Battery capacity here is 2,048 watt hours. And don't forget, it's expandable to 6,144 watt hours with the 2 additional batteries. Now, battery chemistry, this is an LFP battery. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. All right, it's got 3,000 life cycles, and then it goes to 80% plus, which is amazing. All right. Temperature notes, I'll go ahead and put that on the screen so you can see that. You can hit pause if you want to look at that. App control, this is controlled by an app. So you've got the ECOFLOW app where you can do firmware updates. You can do remote control management, which is nice. This has Wi-Fi. It has Bluetooth version 5.0. All right. The weight on this is 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. Now, the add-on battery is 42 pounds or 19 kilograms. And this has a 5-year warranty, which is really nice. Now let's go over the output, and then we'll go over input charging. All right, so the AC outlets on this thing, right? So these can handle 2,400 watts. So you've got 6 of them, which is really nice. And don't forget, they can surge to 4,800. And if you're using X Boost, again, be careful. It can handle up to 3,400 watts, which is nice. Now, as we go to the front of the unit, we've got some Type A. So these are USB Type A, and these are 12 watts. You have 2 of them. And then you've got 2 18-watt fast charge, which is nice. And then they gave you 200-watt USB Type-Cs. And these are not inputs, they're only outputs. You can't charge the unit with these, okay? So they're only outputs. I know some of the other units that are coming out, you can actually do, input and output as far as charging is concerned. So I like that. Now, this unit does have a BMS, so voltage protection, temperature protection, short circuit protection, over current protection, and overload protection. All right, and let's talk about input. Let's talk about charging this unit. So when you charge using AC, right, plugging in the plug into the wall, you can go as high as 1,800 watts, 15 amps, okay? And that just depends on your outlet, don't forget. Now, I'll tell you, and one of the things that's really nice about this unit is if you are actually, if you have an old house, an old apartment or something, and you don't think your outlet is going to be able to handle that, or your outlet is tripping, I'm going to pull a video up for a second, and I'm going to show you how to lower the AC charging so that you don't trip your outlet and you can still charge this unit. So let me show you that. Now, the first thing you want to do if you actually want to adjust your charging speed is you need to move the switch to the slow. All right, so just go here, and left is fast, right is slow. All right, I'm going to go ahead and plug the unit in now, and then I'm going to show you in the app how you can adjust the speed. As you can see here, this thing is creeping up to that 1,800 watts. Again, if your outlet can't handle that, that can be an issue. So you're going to go into the ECOFLOW app, click your Delta 2 Max. What you want to do next is you want to click this gear here in the corner. You want to scroll down to AC charging speed. You see that? Click on that. And it's now going to allow you to go all the way down to 200 watts. And it makes that change immediately. And you'll see here that this thing will not go past 200 watts. And it goes in 100-watt increments. All right, so that can be really helpful, especially if you have a cabin or a house with an old outlet, and you can still charge your Delta 2 Max. Continuing on in the back here, one thing that's really new is they actually have 2 XT60i ports on here. And what's nice about that is each of them can handle 11 to 60 volts or 15 amp. You can actually put 500 watts of solar here and 500 watts of solar here to get 1,000 watts of solar. So that's a real nice addition. Okay, going down to your car charger. The car charger can handle 126 watts. It's nice. It's a nice covered one. It's covered so good that you can't get in it. You got to turn the power on in order to get at that too. And then you've got 2 barrel ports as well, which can handle 38 watts. Okay, so that's it on the detailed specs. And let's continue on. Let's go over the 7 key features of the Delta 2 Max. First one up is powerful, 2,400 watts, all right? And if your device can handle X Boost, and you'll have to look into that, it'll be able to handle up to 3,400 watts on certain devices. And the surge capability is 4,800 watts. Number 2, long lifespan. 3,000 cycles on this battery because it's an LFP battery, lithium iron phosphate, and then it goes to 80% plus. You know, if you use this battery once a day, it can last for 10 years. I mean, it's just amazing. Number 3, expandable. So you can add 2 more batteries and you can go to a total of 6,144 watt hours. Number 4, the EcoFlow app. Definitely. This is really nice to be able to do remote control. You know, that's normally via Wi-Fi, but if you're within range, you can control it with Bluetooth, and you can do firmware updates as well. And there are features in the app that'll allow you to extend the battery life as well. If you have any questions about that, ask me below. What's the next one? The fastest charge time. This thing from 0 to 80% in 68 minutes. Amazing. Key feature number 6, even more solar. They actually added 2 XT60i ports, and each can handle up to 60 volts, 15 amps. So you can have 500 watts of solar on each XT60i for a total of 1,000 watts of solar. And number 7, well, guess what? 5-year warranty. Nothing to worry about. Really nice warranty. Now it's time to show you our must-have accessories. I'm going to start off with a couple of lights since this power station doesn't have a light on it. So this first light is really a very flexible light. All right, it'll stick out. It plugs right into any USB. And to turn it on, all you do is tap the corner. And it does a pretty good job. Like I said, it is flexible, you know, so that's kind of cool. All right, now I've got one more light that doesn't stick out. Let me show you that one. So this is a small light, right, that just plugs into USB. It doesn't take up much space. Let me turn on the USB and show you how bright it is. All right, so it does a pretty darn good job. And you can put multiple in if you want. So, you know, I'll put these these links in the description, but let me show you one more accessory. Next accessory is, what if you're looking for more USB Type-C, right? So they make an adapter that actually will convert a USB Type-A to a USB Type-C. And all you do is stick it in, if you can put it in the right way, and you now have another Type-C. But what if you just want more of the big USB Type-A's? Well, guess what? They make an adapter that will convert a USB Type-C to a USB Type-A. All you do is put that in, and you don't have to worry about which way, because USB Type-C can go in any way. I love that. And now you have 5 USB Type-A's. I'll put these links in the description. Our last accessory is going to convert these barrel plugs. What if you want more car chargers and you don't use a barrel plug? Well, they make an accessory for that, and this is actually covered, which is nice. And all you do is stick it in, and now you've got another car charging port, and you can get 2 of these. Again, I'll put these links in the description. Okay, this is something that I include in every one of my power station videos moving forward. It's called Know Before You Buy. And my goal with this is that you don't go out and buy something that is not going to work for you. All right? I don't want you spending the money. I don't want you to have the headache. And I can tell you how this started. I had a friend that bought a power station, and it was a small one. And because it was a power station, I believe she assumed it would power her coffee maker. And so she was extremely disappointed. And after talking with her, I tried to explain it's more about knowledge and understanding. And so that's why I put together Know Before You Buy, because I want you to think about a few things that I'm going to go over in this section. So let me get started with number 1. Number 1 is, what do you want to power? You have to just stop for a minute and say, you know what am I using this for? Is it for a camping trip? Is it for a road trip? Am I buying this in the case of an emergency if my power goes out? Am I taking this to a cabin that we go to every once in a while? Right? So what do you want to power? Refrigerators, TVs, phones, maybe the internet, a laptop, LED lights. So take a moment Write that down. What do you want to power? Number 2, do you know how much power your appliances and device require? You probably don't. Most people don't. I learned so much in the last couple of years, and I still don't know everything. So I'm going to be showing you an accessory towards the end of this video that I highly recommend you get, because it's going to help you, determine how much power your laptop uses, your TV uses, your phone uses. But let's stick to this page here. So number 2, how much power? So you need to know that, okay? And the other thing is, some of these devices have startup wattage, surge wattage. If you're going to be powering a refrigerator uses wattage, but then it has a compressor that kicks on to make the refrigerator cold, and that can use hundreds of watts, especially older type refrigerators. Let's look at some examples real quick on the bottom. LED lights can use 5, maybe 10 watts. Those are the newer LED lights, right? Laptops can use 100. They could use more. It just depends on how old it is. Is it a gaming laptop, TVs can vary. New TVs use 100 to 200 watts, those thin TVs. But if you have a larger one, it could use 300 watts. If you have an older one, well, those can use like 300-400 watts. And what about a CPAP, right? If you have to sleep overnight and you have to use a CPAP, well, those can vary from 50 to 150 watts, probably more, probably less. Let's take a look at the next section. So here's part 3. How long, right? How long will you need to power the appliances or devices? Now, again, let's just say it's for an emergency, right? Maybe your power goes out once a year for like 8 to 12 hours. Let's use that as an example, all right? But you have to know, or at least have an idea before you make a purchase, because how long really connects with the battery size of the power stations. So let's look at the next slide. So let's put it all together, right? Number 1, what do you want to power? What devices or appliances? Have a list of that. Number 2, how much power do the appliances and devices require? Now, the tool or accessory I'm going to show you coming up is going to help you do that. And number 3, how long will you need to power them, right? Number 3, again, pertains to the size of the battery, right? But number 1, and number 2 really pertains to the power of the unit, because each of these power stations have different power ratings. So here's an accessory that I'm going to recommend. And the brand, don't worry about the brand, because sometimes this brand's not available. I'll make sure links are in the description. But this device here, and I'm going to demo it in a moment so you can see it. I'm going to show it to you. It's real simple. But if you're new to it, it's intimidating, right? So this sells for around $25, and you can connect devices and appliances up to 1,875 watts. So just be aware, or 15 amps. Now, again, I don't expect you to know that, but I have to tell you that, because if you plug in, let's say, a 3,000 watt toaster oven, it's not going to work on this, okay? But let me demo it for you. But what this will do is it will help you understand the wattage that your devices and appliances use. So let's check out the demo. So we're going to do a simple demo, so you know what this device is about. Again, it doesn't cost much, first of all, right? I think it's around $25. And depending on the brand that's available, we'll put a link in the description. But just realize also that you can't plug everything into this. I believe there's like an 1,800 watt limit and a certain amount of amps. Now, I know that's complicated, but if you want to know how many watts your light is using, how many watts your refrigerator is using, how many watts your laptop uses, your phone, this is perfect for it, okay? So this is plugged into my outlet, as you can see on the wall, and now I've got this light plugged in here. So all I need to do now is turn on the light, and let's see how many watts it uses. Now, again, it is on the watt screen, and this does do more than watts, so just be aware, okay? you can actually figure out kilowatts, which is how your electric company bills you. But I don't want to get that complicated. So let me turn the light on. And look at that. We're using 6.3 watts on the LED light. That's really good, right? And again, plug in your laptop, plug in your phone. Again, you'll learn more about the wattage that your appliances use, even your coffee maker. But if this was helpful, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And we're going to continue on with the review. All right. Well, I hope that video helped you, especially that tool, because at the end of the day, many of us are not familiar with the wattage that the devices and appliances we use actually use. So here is something very helpful. It says, the Delta 2 Max has a 2048 watt-hour battery. And so these are estimated run times here. All right, let's go over them. So a small refrigerator that would use 75 watts, like one of those college refrigerators, is estimated to use about 26.5 hours. Now, a full-size refrigerator is a little tricky, but let's just say if yours used an average of 200 watts, you get about 10 hours. Now, in our testing video coming up, we are going to be doing a refrigerator test on the Delta 2 Max. We're known for that. We do that on a lot of our power stations. But keep in mind, when you use a refrigerator, especially a full-size one, the compressor kicks on. It uses a lot more wattage. And then when it's not on, it uses a lot less wattage. Again, that depends on the age of your refrigerator. What about home internet? Let's say you want to plug in your router and your modem, and they use about 50 watts. You can get about 40 hours, all right? Let's say you want to use your fan, all right? A decent full-size fan or a medium to full-size fan uses about 60 watts. You can get about 33.5 hours. Now, what about an LED light? Well, today, LED lights don't take up much. They can be 5 to 10 watts, but let's say 10 watts. You could run that for about 200 hours. Now, what about a CPAP? If you're using a CPAP to get you through the night, right, because, it helps you breathe, a 100-watt CPAP can get about 20 hours, so it'll get you through the night. What about a laptop, a gaming laptop? Let's say it uses 50 watts, and a gaming laptop could use a little more than that, but let's say 50 watts, you can get about 40 hours. Now, what about if it's 100 watts? You just divide that, and you should probably get about 20 hours just on the laptop. What about an iPad? What if you have a big 12.9-inch iPad? Well, you can get about 55 charges. An iPhone 12, you can get about 180 charges. And a Samsung S21, you can get about 142 charges. All right, so connecting the Delta battery is very easy. All we have to do is open up in here, grab our cable, and I'll show you how to connect it. So all we do is open the battery port and put this in the right direction. So we'll start there, push it in. Just don't push it in too hard, but push it in until it stops. And now what you want to do is connect this to the battery port 1. The reason why is battery port 1 actually looks for firmware updates for the battery, okay? If you put it in here, it won't really look for a firmware update for the battery. So, good to know. Let me go ahead and turn the unit around. All right, there it goes. It's connected. You can tell because there's a little battery symbol. You see that right there? And you see that right there? Okay. Now this has 80%, so it's actually charging the battery, which only has 31%. But normally the battery charges that unit. Okay. So pretty nice. All right, before the end of the video, I want to go ahead and pull up the image again of our testing video. That image right there. I'm going to be putting a link in the description when that video comes out, and that will have all of the testing if you want to see that. All right? All right, it's time for my pros and my cons. And I'm going to start off with the cons and end on a positive note. So the first con, it's not really a con. I don't know the price. I'm not going to know it until the video launches. So it'll be very interesting to know the price on this new Delta 2 Max. The second con is this is a heavy unit. You know, you're going to have to be aware of that. But I got to say, the batteries in here, the LFP batteries, I mean, it's just phenomenal. I can't believe it's not more than 50 pounds. So it's very interesting. My third one is my last one is I wish the add-on batteries had USB ports on them. Not AC, because if it had an AC outlet, it would have to have an inverter. But it'd be nice to be able to use those add-on batteries separately if you had to as well. And that's it. Let's go to the pros, because there is a boatload of pros. So here are my pros. And my first one will be in the testing. But I have to tell you, this thing is super quiet. It is amazingly quiet. You know, when you're pumping out, 2,000 watts or whatnot. So it's pretty interesting, even when you're charging it. So this thing is powerful, 2,400 watts with a surge of 4,800 watts. Amazing. Love it. And this is a big one. More solar. You can put 1,000 watts of solar into this thing. They added a second XT60i port. So you have two XT60i ports. Check that out in the beginning in the close look. 500 watts each for 1,000 watts of solar. Pretty nice. This is an obvious one. Lithium iron phosphate, right? LFP batteries, 3,000 life cycles, and then it goes to 80%. I mean, you could use this once a day for 10 years, they're saying. And that's pretty cool. I like the ability to control the AC charging wattage. So when you go back into the video and you go to the specs section, the detailed specs, I showed you how to bring it down from 1,800 watts to 200 watts. And that's really good in the case where, let's say you live in a cabin or an old apartment that has old outlets, and you're scared to plug this thing in to charge. You can bring the wattage down to 200 watts. I really like that. Now, I also like the ability to prolong the battery. In the EcoFlow app, you can actually adjust it. Now, I actually charge mine to 90%, and I discharge mine to 10%. So there's a setting you can adjust. That's what I do. Some people say you should do 20, 80, etc. I do 10 on the bottom, 90 on the top. And, my battery should last even longer. So I like that. I do like that you get two USB Type-C ports, 100 watts. So those are going to be really helpful for people in today's day and age. 5-year warranty, guys. I mean, amazing. Really nice warranty. I have to say also the EcoFlow app, right? I mean, I know I talked about a couple of features of the EcoFlow app, but I like the EcoFlow app. And lastly, I have to tell you, EcoFlow as a company has really continued to get better and better. And yeah, this is a sponsored video, but I collaborate with a lot of people. I talk with our subscribers and people asking me questions. And in the majority, I have not heard anything but good. Once in a while, there's an issue, but I think that's a communication barrier. Email support is really good, by the way. If you call them, there could be a little disconnect sometimes, but I email them. I send them pictures. They get back to me. So, guys, that's our pros. Well, guys, I hope you saw the pros and cons. I hope that you saw the full video. I have to say I am pleasantly impressed of what they did with this Delta Max. It's a nice unit. The Delta Pro can be a lot for people. It's very heavy. It's 100 pounds, and the batteries are like 85 pounds. So you're cutting your weight in half. And, you're still getting the expansion capabilities. You now have that lithium iron phosphate battery. So I am loving it. And hey, if you thought our video helped you in any way, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. By the way, if you're new to the channel, take a moment and subscribe. We sure hope that you would join the family. We're always chatting with our subscribers and our viewers. And if you like our video and you want to share it, go right ahead. And if you do, put a comment below. Let me know so I can give you some props for helping us out in the channel. Hey, by the way, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook right above. And check out our Tesla channel. As you can see here, we've got a little video running. That is our new Tesla Model 3 long range. And we are doing some reviews right now. And our goal is to start to put together some, videos on, what is it like to go from a gas vehicle to a battery vehicle. Guys, have a great day, and thank you so much for watching our video.